Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons. So here we are in Meridia again. So in order to access this place, you do need to head and pick up your quest in the 12. Then head out here. There is a Slayer area accessible from the 12 itself. Or you can head directly from the airship. Now, for this quest here, it is Running with the Devils. If you watched my previous video with Coalescence Chamber, right from that area, you can actually head right there. It's real nice and close. You'll see here's there, and then it's just right around the corner here to the Aloevain stronghold. It seems a lot farther here, but once we get there, you'll see what I mean. So in order to get there, we do want to head off to the left once we exit. Don't worry if you can't make that jump. Just run across just to speed things up a little bit here. Now again, there are two ways to get up there. You can head through that ramp way over there where that tree is, or you can head up here. Now I am going to head up here and pass by the Coalescence Chamber quest. That way, for anybody who is watching and it just finish completing that quest, they'll have that right from there. Now, getting to the quest is in itself quite simple. Alright, so here is Coalescence Chamber. So from here, you're just going to want to head just past your shrines heading north.
The water of this ancient pool still feels crisp and cold.
And we're basically going to hug the wall here. So once we hop down, get straight across and just hug that wall. Now we are going to hug the wall and head left. Right here. You can sometimes get a rare encounter along the way here, which is the portal. Now it is a construct type thing, and it is immune to a lot of extra damage types. Construct inanimate object. This is the one I meant to give, just to give ourselves a little extra damage. And yeah, so simple enough. It isn't, again, an inanimate object. Aside from that wave of enemies that are standing right outside, it doesn't actually spawn in any extras. It's just the portal itself. Now, as you can see, force damage does affect it, but doesn't do any additional damage. And here we go. From here, again, we're just going to want to hug the wall here and just continue following that right along the side. And it'll lead us all the way to that giant tree stump over there, which will be our quest entrance. So this quest here is probably the most difficult in terms of the actual enemies that you will encounter out here in the Vale. And it is just simply the enemy type. They can do a lot of damage fairly quickly. Alright, so once we're inside, we do want to hop down. and we're gonna head to this person right here
Beckons you closer.
and talk them. It does force you to talk them. As you see, our lever is locked until we do.
Placed an
Once we're done talking, we can open the door and head deeper in.
strange sensation washes
As you
over
head deeper, you will come across these guys here,
Spell Silent cast.
and these are the enemies, again, that are very, very difficult to kill. They have two forms. So they have their humanish form, and then they have like almost like a wind elemental form. Now again, they do a lot of damage, and some of them are actually healers. And that'll be the ones that look like those orbs there. They're also the ones that are hitting with such light damage. Alright. So there we go. So they don't have the most amount of hit points, but they can dish out a lot of damage real fast, so you just gotta be careful. So once we're done there, we're gonna head through, pull our lever, head down the ramp, and there are 4 of those vases, which we did break, and then we're gonna want to head down here. Now this is where things get to be a little bit more difficult. There are a lot of enemies in this area, and if you're not careful, you can actually summon more of them at once than maybe you're ready for. So just be careful when pulling enemies, and I definitely recommend to do that rather than just blitzing ahead, especially if you are solo. Kind of fight them on your terms. Alright, so it does look like we got most of them there. Alright. So at this point, we can head over here into the cage, and they have a few collectibles to grab. One more. Okay, either way, it's not super important. From here, you do want to head up the ramp here and make your way to the top. At the top, they will have a few more, and as you can see, a cleric. Now, you do want to take these guys out as fast as you can. Again, they are clerics, they heal. The last thing you need is, as you're killing them, have them jump back up to full hit points. Alright. Now at this point, right around the corner, we're going to have our first kind of mini boss, which is a Wisum. That's not his name, that actually is his like creature type. And that might be actually it for us. There we go. That Champion Glay is really tearing us a new one here. There we go. And then again, we'll just finish off this guy. So yeah, with those champions, their heal spell will heal them to full hit points, as well as just the sheer amount of damage that they actually output. Like this is what makes this quest the hardest one. Aside from the enemy type, the quest itself really isn't that bad. Alright. So here we are, we're going to head deeper in. cross the bridge, and when you get to the end here, it is going to spawn in a bunch of these air elementals. Just be prepared, because they do like tossing you around, which can end up throwing you down to the bottom, and of course you have to make your way back up. There we go. Once in, you'll have to head in here. Now we do have 2 more of these guys. Now, its safe little spot is you can actually hop up on top of these levers. If it's gonna let me, there we go. And you can attack from up top here. Now, as you'll see, these guys are not the Wisham, they're Nisham. But again, similar things. And it makes it a little bit easier. As you see, they are having a little bit of issue hitting us. And their knock around effect, where they get near you and they throw you around, that won't come into play. So once you're done, go ahead and pull your levers, and this will open up our door at the bottom, which will be way down there. Now at this point, most people just hop down. It is the fastest way to the bottom, and again we'll see another cleric over here. So another thing that's going to happen is you are going to have some invisible stalkers, which is actually what's behind me right here fighting me. With these guys, if you don't have true sight, you will not see them. So it is handy to have that. And there are a couple down here, so I'll show you as I take off this. They are completely invisible, though we can target them and partially see them. For the most part, they are completely invisible. Alright. From here, you do need to head back down to here, and we're going to head through our door.
Invading devils clash with defending Aloevain.
Alright.
Do not allow them to reach Talon before you do.
So we're going to come around the corner. We got a couple more guys to defeat. Now for this one here, it is super handy to actually have a proper party. And I definitely recommend having a party, as it will, if nothing else, provide additional distractions while you're able to kill the glaze. Alright. So here we are. We're actually almost at our first shrine, and as you can see with the amount of spell points I'm using, just on heals alone, it is very much going to be needed. So right up at the top of this ramp, just to our left, we are going to have that shrine. We're also going to have a few more enemies. And here we go. So obviously if you don't need this shrine, definitely, skip it, as it may be needed later on. But if you are needing it, don't worry, there is another one before the actual end fight, as well as another one along the way. So the quest itself is actually at this point about halfway done. It is, again, a shorter quest in comparison, but with the extra difficulty of the Aloevain, it is quite a bit annoying. I'm gonna actually use the hireling to heal us up to save our spell points a little bit. Alright, so here you do want to continue heading off to the west, right up until we get to our door. And here we go. So once through the door here, it's going to kind of bring us into a bigger room. And we're going to have a few more enemies here. A couple of which being those earth elementals. Now aside from them, I'm just going to give us a fresh one of those. New weapon attach. So aside from them, once we pull the lever here, it's going to have a whole bunch of guys on the other side of this gate. So again, just be careful and really pay attention to just how many you're summoning. As you see, kind of ended up getting all of them. Which can be very dangerous. Alright, so once you have dealt with the initial crew, you do want to head in and take out any guys who did not come directly at you. And you can head into this little room, couple of breakables, and a lockbox for some random loot. From here, we do need to head up the stairs
The bridge to the west is raised.
and off to the left. Now this section here, it does have a complete optional, which is heading up north this direction. Up the ramp here just to our left, this will actually continue deeper in. Apparently I had that moved. That kind of hurt. So the ramp right here, that will lead to where we need to go to drop the bridge. However, this path to the north will lead us to a complete optional. Again, this is 100% skippable and actually a little bit easier. It has some devils, which do not hit nearly as hard as the Aloevain we've been facing. So I definitely recommend heading up here, though there can be, as you see, a larger group of them. Now they do spawn in groups of 2, and they'll have several groups all the way down the path to the very end. Now you can choose to fight as you're running past, fight them all at the end, Again, it is up to you. They're a lot easier, as I'm sure you can tell, just from how much faster I am going through these guys. At the very end, we do have a named one, which in our case is a stone guard, so he is going to take that extra lightning damage there from us. And once he dies, it will provide you with an extra little loot box. And a nice chunk of optional experience. As well as monster manual experience, as turns out, so yay. Now, from this point, we do want to head back to that main path. And then we're going to head up that ramp there. So it is a bit of a run, as you can see. Alright, so from here, again, we're going to head up the ramp. Now there may be a couple of enemies in here. You definitely want to deal with them first before starting to attack the guys on the other side of our bridge. One of which being, and of course he's a champion, but one of which being another named enemy. So I'm going to follow you here. So I do recommend killing the trash first, especially the cleric here. And I do always fight them on this side. I find pulling them over here gives us a little bit more fighting room. Alright, so once that is done, again, head across. You'll find a couple of breakables, but most importantly, our lever here. This lever will drop down the bridge, which leads into our final area. So all we're going to do is follow this path here to this door. Right on the other side of the door, we're going to immediately have a couple guards here, and our what we believe to be at the time our end boss. Now, the end guy there is quite annoying. He is considered one of these galays. So he has a large heal, as well as a very large hit point pool on top of that. There we go. Once he's dead, just off to our right here, we do have this little room, which does have a nice rest shrine if you need it. Now this will be the last shrine before the very end fight, which honestly, the end fight is not as difficult as everything else we've been doing up to this point. Alright, here. So what's going to happen, and there are a few ways to do it. So one way is to fight inside here, and just pull them one at a time. There's another way where you literally just fight up top here, right in the end spawn room. So it's up to you to decide how you want to go about it. I am going to show you the method of fighting down there. So the first thing you want to do is you do want to talk to this guy. and he's gonna transform right away. But again, you want to first run down and run away. So he'll transform into a tiefling, and you're gonna have doors opening up on the sides there and there. As they do, they are gonna have guys rushing in to run upstairs. So this is, if you're up top there, you'd, as you can tell, you'd have to fight them all at once. However, by fighting them where I'm at down here, you'll end up pulling them one at a time. So typically, I will just fight them inside, but I wanted to show you this as an option, as they are a lot of red name enemies. So now that the Orthons have gone back to their respected sides, we can head on up and just start attacking our first one. So there he goes, and then again we'll have one in here, so you can shoot him, drag him out, fight him one-on-one. We have one down this path here. Same thing right here. And then finally, one down here. Now, unlike the others, this one here is actually an orange named enemy. So anything that will affect orange names, even including assassinating, will work on this one here, whereas the rest are all red names. Now, once you've defeated them all, that's it. Quest complete. So it is, the end fight I find a lot easier than the rest of the quest. Once you're done, whether you chose to fight up here or elsewhere, you do want to come back into this room, grab your loot, making sure again to grab your Shavras stone and any of these weird ingredients. That way, if you are looking to craft green steel later on, that you'll have the material available. At this point, all that's left is to recall to town and turn in. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a blast, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.